Hello boys and girls, Mr. Krebsbach here. I'm going to teach you Unit 6, Module 1, Session 3's Graphing Cube Sequences lessons. Now before we get started, you're going to need a pencil, your math notebook, a math student workbook. We're going to be on pages 206 and 207, and the math cubes if you have them. Now those came home in your math boxes. I know that some kids really love the visual of working with these sequences. In class today, we're going to be giving each student their own cubes. They really work well. Now, if for some reason you do not have them, that is fine. You can draw them in your math notebook. All right, let's get started. Now, the arrangements that we are going to be building are going to look like these. Now, my first arrangement is only going to have 2 blocks. Now, what I want you to notice about those is that they are sharing one edge, right? They're opposite one another, okay? They're not truly connected together, okay? Now, arrangements 2 and 3, we have 2 different views. So for arrangement 2, they want to show you that, there's another layer, but they want to show you the back view so that you can see that what it looks like back behind those 2 cubes on the top. Same then for arrangement number 3. All right, so for arrangement number 1, now again, if you don't have these, you can draw this in your math notebook, so it would look just something like this, right? You've got your little flat, you've got up top, and then just the side one, okay? Again, that was really bad, wasn't it, Mr. K? Oh, goodness. So, again, I probably would have to go a little slant, right? Make that a parallelogram there. Then I can do this. There we go. So we've got 2 cubes that are just sharing that one edge. And the first arrangement is nothing more than just 2 blocks. Okay, now arrangement number 2, we have 2 layers. Okay, so that layer 1 is on the bottom, and we can see that that is 4 blocks connected together. Now again, how we prove that is by looking at that back image, right? We go and we see that back image and you can see, oh yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks all together. And then up top, we have another cube here and another cube there. So it's the arrangement 1 just on top of that layer of 4. So we look at how many blocks this would take and we say, okay, there are 4 blocks on the bottom and there are 2 blocks on that top layer, giving us 6 blocks in this arrangement. Okay, so arrangement 3 now, we add another layer. Okay, and we can just assume that this is going to continue, right? We've got 2 layers and we say, all right, well, let's make now like a little formula for this. We have a layer of 4 and we have 2 of those layers plus my 2 blocks that are on the top. Right? So we say to ourselves, PEMDAS, right? I got to do my parentheses first. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 more. I now have 10 blocks for arrangement number. Okay? So we take a peek now in our math workbook, page 206, and we're going to start talking about graphing our cube sequences. Okay, so cube sequence number 1, we put that in our math notebook, that had 2. All right, so it was sequence 1 had 2 blocks. Okay, so that was our arrangement is the first number. The number of cubes is our second. Okay, so for my second arrangement, we saw that we had 6. For my third arrangement, we had 10 blocks. Okay, so we look at how many blocks are there for arrangement number 4 and arrangement number 5. Well, again, we had 4 blocks times 3. Okay, this is for pattern number 4, plus the 2 on top. So we have 12 plus 2, 14. So the fourth arrangement had 14. How about my fifth arrangement? Okay, so this would be, 4 blocks times 4 layers. 1, 2, 3, 4, plus the 2 on top. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 2 more. I'm up to 18. So sequence number 5 would have 18. And we can go down and we can look at that arrangement again, and we can put our numbered pairs, because we're going to need these as we're graphing. And when we look at our graph and label, we see that on the bottom, our arrangements of cubes is going to be our first number. So arrangement 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The y vertices is going to be our number of cubes. That was 2, 6, 10, 14, and 18. So we take a look on here, and obviously we start, if we had 0 arrangements, we'd have 0 blocks. When we had 1, we had 2. Again, 1, 2, first number, we go over to the right, 1 arrangement, 2 total number of cubes. For my arrangement number 2, we had 6 blocks. For arrangement number 3, we had 10 blocks. For arrangement number 4, we had 14 blocks. For arrangement 5, we had 18. And we start seeing if we have a little bit of a pattern here, and our line is going in a very straight fashion. And we start to say to ourselves, well, what would the 6th arrangement look like? What would the 7th arrangement look like? And again, we've got that formula. There was 4 in a layer. Arrangement number 6 would have 5 layers plus the 2 more on top. Arrangement 6 would have those 4 layers, 6 on top plus 2. So we get ourselves 4 times 5 is 20 plus 2. We'd have 22. We'd have 26. Let's see if that plays out. 22. Number 7 would be 26. Well, that's wonderful. Now, what if they asked a question like, well, what would the 15th arrangement look like? Now, we don't have a graph large enough to find that, but we have our formula. We know if we take each layer has 4, and there was one fewer layer than the number of arrangement, because the top layer only had 2. So 14 times 2, I'm going to do my doubling. Okay, so that would be 28 times 2. And then double my 28, 25 would be 50 plus 6 more. There would be 56 cubes. So my ordered pair would be 15, 56. So we can use these algebraic equations that we just created here to figure out what the pattern would be way further down in the sequence, right? That's some 6th grade math here, but I know you guys are capable of this. I know that you can do this. Now, after you finish this up in your math workbook, you want to go to page 207. We've got a seesaw activity for this, and you're going to practice a little more with the ordered pairs. Now it says on each of these grids below, draw a numbered dot of the pairs in the list, connect the dots to make a picture. The first one's drawn for you. Now, if you do these correct, they will actually create something. You see 1, 5 for number 1. Right, I put a little check because that one's done. Now 1, 1 is next. 1, 1 would be here. And I would just go and I would connect that dot, and then I'd go and check this off. 5, 1 is next. 5 over, 1 up. And you guys need to go and you need to finish up the picture for number 1, for number 2, and then you need to share that with your teacher. Great job. Talk to you later.